So can you all see the screen? I'm assuming you can see the screen.
Yep.
Yeah. So the really boring bit, just to get this out of the way for anybody that's new here, we are going to be having a quick look back at what's been recently added to Garage Hive over the last month, what's currently being worked on, what's coming next, and then we're going to have a quick look at a forgotten feature as well, and then drop into a Q&A at the end. So the purpose of office hours was based from community feedback, and it was to bring the community closer to the developers, essentially, and make you all aware of why we sometimes make certain decisions that don't seem to make sense. We want to improve awareness of new features, which is a massive challenge for Garage Hive. We have a lot of features out there that are missed very frequently, and of course get feedback on existing features. This is not to discuss new feature requests. There is a website for that called garagehive.co.uk/ideas. So as probably with most of you, we've had some holidays this month. So I have had to ever so slightly scrape the barrel this month. I'm going to put that out there straight away. It's not the richest, fullest office hours, but there is some cool stuff that we do want to speak about. So starting with CoPilot then. Now, we've been speaking about this for a while. Can you hear that car in the background? Can you hear a car?
No.
No, right.
No.
Someone is revving something quite aggressively outside my window, so it's a bit distracting. So we spoke about CoPilot a couple of months ago, and it was actually in a webinar when we should not have spoken about CoPilot. So Reese broke the news to everybody, even though he wasn't supposed to. And then we released it, obviously, at Automechanica, and some of you got to play with it. There are a few people currently using it. Ed, I know that I think you've been actively using it. How are you getting on?
Yeah, well, the front of house, yeah, love it. Obviously, it's the same as any kind of AI. It's 85% good, and you have to kind of edit it down a little bit, but it definitely fills out a lot of it very easily. Yeah.
Gives you a good framework to work from. So
definitely.
The good news is, well, it's good news and bad news, right? So this is going to not please everybody, but it is now available for people who've been migrated over to cloud. So we're about 15 to 20% there with all of our users being migrated to cloud. If you're one of the fortunate ones that have been migrated to cloud, then this will now be, I think it's optional, but it is available for you to use if you want to use it. We've got a few people using it. The feedback is extremely good. And yeah, it's only obviously further going to improve, but this is now for public release if you are on cloud.
How do you know if you're on cloud?
You should have been told.
Okay.
So if you haven't been told, then you're probably not. And your URL would have changed. So if you're still logging in at fergies.garagehive.co.uk/BC, you're not on cloud.
Yeah, fair enough.
So the ability to create orders from estimates and VIEs is now, it's either live today or it's live Monday. It's live in our system. It's live for most people. Sean, I'm not sure if it was you who actually requested this one. So
yeah,
I've
been using it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That's really good to hear. I think this actually came from the Ideas website as well. So again, further evidence that the Ideas website is working. But yeah, this is going to change some people's workflows. But just don't forget it's there and give it a go. We've not actually started to implement this within Lindley's yet, but we're certainly going to be. So essentially what happens from a VIE, where you would also have it on a job sheet, you get the vendor options down below on the lines. And then when you create the purchase order, it's linked back to the VIE. Now, the really clever part is when the VIE ends up as a job sheet, that connection follows through to the job sheet as well. So it's been pretty well thought about.
Sorry, Alex, I just missed. Did you say that's live now?
It's either live today or live Monday. I think
Okay,
it might be live on Monday. I know it's like it's either in deployment or pre-deployment, or it's been deployed to most people already.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So yeah, it's as good as out there. I'm guessing you're not going to be making any purchase orders today, Tim. So imagine you're signing off after today. So hopefully the next time you make a purchase order, it'll be available for you. And yeah, it does follow through to the job sheet. So it will link initially to the VIE, and then it will end up linking to the job sheet, which is a pretty cool consideration, really. Possibly not super relevant for everybody, but you can now search Autodata by engine code as well. So if you ever end up in a situation where you don't have a vehicle registration or it's not properly updated, you can actually search by engine code if you want to.
Cool.
Again, a very unique situation, but you may find yourself in this if you use deposits, is that you can now consume deposits from different customers. So if you have a build to and a sell to customer on a job sheet, you can actually use the deposit from either one of those customers against that job sheet. It's one of those ones that you might, why would I ever need that? But when the circumstance arrives, it will be extremely useful to you. One, if you use deposits, and two, if you have customers where you have a separate build to and a separate sell to customer.
Yeah, really well got payment assist, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what it was built for. So finally, just a reminder for everybody, this is now in full release, vehicle visuals. So I know a few people are using this, but if you're not aware of it, I think there's a video on YouTube about this as well, which is, this has been released for a couple of months, but it's gone through several variations, and now we're quite happy with it for now, but there's still improvements to come. So this would allow you to add vehicle visuals to an online authorization, but you can also add it into a service package. So for those who have invested heavily in your service packages, you can now predefine videos, not just vehicle visuals, but also YouTube videos within those service packages that will display as online auth on the right hand side, as you can see. Now I'm a bit nervous for this next slide because I've just read a post on Facebook and Dawn is on holiday, so I don't want to bother her, and she's the one in the know. So I was informed that the AAG parts integration is fully released, but I've just read a forum post which suggests there might be a problem. So if you use AAG, then next week, please get in touch with the Garage Hive team. We can set this integration up. AAG have publicly released their interface, although I have, as I said, I have just seen an issue where someone actually has an error with it. But I also know people who are successfully using it as well. So I don't know what that error is exactly that somebody has had. But yeah, it's working. For those that use GSF, it functions in exactly the same way that the GSF integration works with Alicat. So what we're currently working on or testing then. So again, a bit of a unique situation, but we are working on the ability for to send emails from multi-location businesses. So this has always been a problem. If you have multiple locations, you could only previously use one email address. Well, now you will be able to add multiple email addresses, and the location card will define the default sender of that email. Now, the way this technology is set up, this isn't confirmed, this is just my opinion. I'm hoping that we will be able to do this down to Service Advisor because it's a very similar workflow. So hopefully one day you'll be able to send an email out from a Service Advisor from the Service Advisor's email directly from within Garage Hive. I don't see why we're not going to go down that path when we've developed this one. For those that sell tires, anyone that sells tires knows that the biggest problem with tires is stock. So it's having a well-managed stock. And for anybody who has a well-managed stock, you'll know that consistent supply of budget tires is very difficult. So you would have a 205 55 16 budget tire, but that might be comprised of several different brands. You're not going to mix brands on a single car, but you might not be able to get a consistent stock of a particular brand. So we've created a feature set that allows you to categorize tires into tire stock groups. So if you have 10 different brands of budget tire, you can create a stock replenishment rule to say, I want 10 budgets keeping in stock. And instead of the system telling you to order a specific part number, it will just tell you to order 10 budgets. And it will also look what tires are considered budget and what's already in stock. This might sound like completely irrelevant if you don't sell tires, but if you do sell tires, this is like a really, really cool feature, to be honest with you. It's something that has been a long time coming. So when it creates an order or it recommends an order, it will recommend an order for a stock group instead of a specific item number. I'm quite excited about this feature. It has been a long time coming. So additional upcoming features then. So again, not relevant for many people, but we're working on a VRM database for Isle of Man customers. It's quite complex, but it's coming. Refining online booking contact form to ask more information. I'm completely bored of mentioning this feature, but it is coming, I promise. Online booking for manual vehicle selection. If we're working on if registrations aren't recognized, this is something that is coming up a bit. So you'll be able to book online without a registration. Add a copy text button to the survey so they can paste it into Google. So if you're using the the customer survey Net Promoter Score feature, for those that don't know, you can actually set it up to automatically request a Google review, and it will take them straight through to Google. And we're adding a copy button to that allows them to copy what they've already said to you straight into Google, just to stop them having to type it in again. Again, as in previous meetings we spoke about this, but easy access to the invoice from the payment link. Again, there is a delay on that one, which I apologize about, but it is being worked on. Following up from location-specific emails, we are also working on location-specific reminders. People with multi-locations will be very pleased to hear. So you'll be able to send a reminder out specific to a branch, again, which has been quite a long time coming. And also, we are working on the Timetastic integration. So I've been told the way that will work is that when you assign annual leave within Timetastic. I don't use Timetastic, so I don't know exactly how to use it, but when someone requests a holiday, it will create a standard event within Garage Hive. That's what we're aiming for. So you no longer need to double up standard events from within Garage Hive. For those that don't use Timetastic, by the way, I've been told it's highly recommended, very good product, and extremely cheap. Is it like £1 a user or something, just something ridiculously cheap? So take a look at it if you're not currently using any HR software. And then the one that's been chosen from ideas, we've not refined this, and it's actually quite complicated, but it is something that we've committed to working to. And this is a good example, by the way. Leo had this idea. He came to me with this idea. I said, go on ideas with this idea. He's rallied up support, and within the first month, he's got it over the line. So essentially what he wants to happen is if that an item on a line level falls below a certain margin, that there are some restrictions in place so staff can't just give parts away. So we don't know whether to make that like customer based or user based. We don't know yet exactly how we're going to design it, but we're going to add restrictions in place that you as a business owner can have some control over what your service advisors do in terms of discounts. I'm sure we all think that's a good idea and something that we would probably all take advantage of.
Yeah.
So finally, going into forgotten features, again, I just wanted to try and find something quirky that isn't enabled by default. You may or may not use this feature, but I remember going on site and this was a really big problem at this particular business, and Ray designed this feature overnight, and I actually think it's a really cool feature. So for those that aren't aware, there is a feature called vehicle parking location, and it's actually pretty cool. You enable it in service management setup, and you create your parking locations. So it could be parking spaces, or it could be like street names, or whatever your parking situation is. And when the technician clocks off the job, they say where the car's parked, so your service advisors know where to direct the customer. And you also get who's said it's parked there, what date it was parked there, and what time it was parked there as well. So again, it just adds to that customer journey. Instead of them saying, where's my car? And you don't know, and you got to go looking for it. We've all been in that situation. This just allows a bit of slickness to that customer journey. So if you've not got it enabled, enable it, give it a go. It is pretty cool. So I told you it'd be a short and sweet one. That is the end of office hours. So I'm now going to stop recording. If I can figure it out, stop recording.